It happened. Will's Fifth Quarter Special Fans, host and creator Will Farrell here with you for this emergency Facebook Live as history has been made today in the National Football League Week 18. So coming into today, the Chicago Bears had a chance at being within the top 4 picks for the draft. We knew they would probably trade down, still a possibility. They have their franchise quarterback already in Justin Fields. And the way it's looking, quarterbacks like Bryce Young, Will Levis of Kentucky, Bryce Young, who I just mentioned, who's with Alabama, and C.J. Stroud of Ohio State would be probably going within the top 5, probably top 3, as we've seen quarterbacks go very early in the drafts. To those QB-needy teams, they'll trade up for it. The Bears already have their franchise quarterback, and we're just going to take a look at it because it was very shocking. I, along with so many other Bears fans, was watching the box scores. You watch it so closely, and the Chicago Bears lost 29-13 to a talented Minnesota Vikings team. I'm not a Vikings fan, but give a lot of credit to Minnesota this year under their new head coach. They did pretty good. But the big story, the Chicago Bears lost. Now, it would lead to a Texans victory being necessary for them to get the first pick. And on a last-second play the Texans made and the 2-point conversion completion, the Texans have won 32-31 over the Indianapolis Colts, meaning for the first time since 1947, your Chicago Bears have the first overall pick in the NFL draft this spring. So that's a really big deal for Chicago. Knowing how Ryan Poles traded back last year, I think it just makes this offseason really interesting. Which means here at Will Score Special, we'll be covering a lot of big stuff, trade possibilities, upcoming mock drafts as it gets close. A lot of Bears talk, as we always talk about usual sports we cover here. There'll be a lot of good Bears coverage coming up here. We'll get in. So I'm just going to go into a few more details of just kind of my thoughts on it, what this means for Chicago, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. So Brock Hop is watching. Thanks for tuning in, man. Tell us what you think. Mr. Cott's tuning in. Feel free to leave comments, guys, as you're tuning in. Maybe a projected trade you have the Bears doing in the draft, or do they keep number 1? What do you have the Bears doing? Share that with us. I think they're going to trade down. You can get a lot of different picks for, compensation for that pick. Number 1's very valuable. And you see quarterback-needy teams like Carolina, possibly Tampa Bay, if Tampa Bay needs a draft pick too. Or for a quarterback high up, they can move up. Detroit, our division rival, we could move up. But you want to stay within the top 10 if you're the Bears. You still can get some really good players. So hypothetically, if they trade back, they can get it's still early, but this is kind of my point. You can get an offensive lineman, Paris Johnson, I believe his name is, out of Ohio State, or that offensive tackle out of Northwestern looks pretty good. So this is a really exciting day for Bears fans who had a rough season. We can now look forward to what Ryan Poles will do this offseason. The Bears just made things a lot interesting for the next few months in the NFL when the offseason begins for most teams, and after the Super Bowl, things just got interesting because the Bears do not just have the first overall pick in the draft, they have the largest amount of cap space for the NFL draft, along with that pick. But the offseason, the Bears are just going to be rolling. So I'm going to look at the cap space for 2023 for all NFL teams. Don Carlson, thanks for tuning in. All right, so it's looking like, according to SpotReact.com, courtesy of SpotReact.com, we're going to look at the Bears' available cap space for 2023. And it's looking to be around $120, $130 million, about $124 million. So that's barring any players they might cut or release. So that number is subject for change. So that's a really big deal for the Bears. Let's see if there's any new updates on that. Just courtesy of Google, the number did say 124, so I'm going to check if there are any fluctuations here. So let's take a look. No, I'm not seeing any specific fluctuations. So Bears will have $124 million in cap space for the offseason. And the way the free agent class looks right now at this point, there's a lot of good players. You're losing a David Montgomery, and he could come back to Chicago, but in my opinion, when you have running backs that'll be available that you could pay, and a Josh Jacobs, who is a very impressive player, a lot younger than David Montgomery. You also have a Saquon Barkley, who is, yes, injury prone, but still an option. You're going to have your pick of the litter at running back. So they could draft a guy even too. But if I'm the Bears, you trade down, get a lot of picks, maybe get a wide receiver in a deal with that team. Still get a wide receiver early in the draft, as they talked about during the broadcast. You need to get some better stuff built around Justin Fields. Yes, I still do like the picks last year, despite them being 2 defensive picks and not helping Fields this year. But where the Bears are right now, if they want to, try and do better next year, maybe become a surprise contender or wild card team, you need to surround your quarterback with the right players. They did that with the trade for Chase Claypool. They'll still have, as they have Montgomery, will head to free agency soon here. A Khalil Herbert. Tristan Ebner is a backup that needs to definitely work on things. You have a Velus Jones Jr. N'Keal Harry, I think, is a big name too. They did lock up Equanimeous St. Brown for one more year. I think that's a good move. But I would also consider, just how affordable the contract will be, and you want to build depth, do the same with N'Keal Harry. He's got good size, and you got to get receiver. You can improve the offensive line. Seeing this year, when they're healthy, Tevin Jenkins is doing a kick-butt job in his new role in this offense. A lot of Bears fans wonder what was going to happen with Tevin Jenkins, but this definitely helps his Bears career moving forward, I think. You can build an offensive line around Tevin Jenkins, and Braxton Jones is somebody I was really impressed with when he got picked in the draft. I thought that was, but where the spot was, 5th round pick, playing the way he did is just incredible. So, like I said, the Bears will have the first overall pick for the first time since 1947. This was an emergency edition of Will's Fifth Quarter Specials Facebook Live. Tune into this and all video content on our YouTube channel. Search Will's Fifth Quarter Special and subscribe for free. When the fourth quarter buzzer sounds, you turn to us for your fifth quarter sports talk. I'm your host and creator of Will's Fifth Quarter Special, Will Farrell, saying, celebrate, Bears fans. You might have had a losing season and not make the playoffs, but for the first time since 1947, the Chicago Bears have the first overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft. So long, guys.